Okay, welcome back to another Friday Night Disaster Report for, I guess this will be the first one for February 2019. Anyways, we've been getting a few jobs done and doing some other tinkering, so we'll take you for a little tour, show you what's going on. And main thing is trying to keep warm. Last week we went from minus 30 to minus 5 back to minus 30. Well, it's supposed to be 36 by tonight or tomorrow night, so like some kid playing with a thermostat. Anyways, we'll show you what we've been up to on the old Massey. Finishing up a little tinkering that we showed you last week. We got the alternator wired up here, so she's charging a good 14.5 volts. And oh, here, better put on your sunglasses. We got lights. So she's light enough that she lights up the door in the daytime. How you like that, hey? So yeah, we got the LED lights in the holders there, got the incandescents out, and she's charging good. So the only problem we're having, and I know what I got to do to fix it, is now that the alternator's charging, it doesn't shut off. You start her up and she runs along fine. You shut her off, of course the alternator stays energized because the ignition switch is basically being bypassed by the alternator because it's feeding the output side of the ignition switch with the alternator. So you pull off the field connection and it shuts off. So what I got to do is take out the switch that's in there and put in a double pole single throw so that I can put the alternator field circuit on a separate connection, and then it will shut off independent of the rest of the system, and she should shut down properly because there's only a single pole single throw switch right there now. And we'll show you what we've been doing. We're back on the Hudson here. Made an executive decision, so we've been working on this piece. I'll show you where it goes. Got a little bit of trimming, and not much trimming, but mostly just grinding the welds and stuff, smoothing her out. This stuff was all rusted up really good, and it's actually 2 layers here. I'll show you where that goes. And there goes Trashy the cat. She gets in there, she thinks everything's a garbage bag. She get into anything you leave laying around. So this is the fender here. It's upside down, and this piece goes in here. We'll get back here a little ways. It goes in here, right around there somewhere. And then you've got the holes here to hook it on, and it spot welds on, and so on and so forth. But you can see where that's rusted through. So my philosophy is, whenever possible, you build it in place. So this one was fairly straightforward to build. This one would be more difficult, and I can make sure this one fits as I'm building it, and then I can clamp it in place, and then I can build the piece of the fender itself and fit it to this piece where it's going to spot weld on, and then we know everything's going to fit. And then the last piece with this, we did that piece 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago now, I think 2015. And there's a couple of pieces in the back down in there that we did back then. That was in 2015. January 2015, I think, was the last time we worked on this thing. And we welded up some cracks and stuff, and all that kind of stuff I torch weld. I can get a nice smooth bead on there usually, and a lot less finish work. So the tricky part is this piece right here. We got to it curves around. Somebody's welded a piece of 1/4-inch rod in there at some point a long time ago, and it's half rusted away, to try to hold that corner. So what I'm going to do, I think, with this is I'm going to make a hammer buck or hammer form with a piece of plywood so that I can get this curve here and then hammer this, because I got to go all the way from here all the way around to here to get, because all this is rusted away bad, to get that whole piece. And I think a hammer form is going to be the way to do it. I can clamp it between two pieces with the curve on the matching curve, and then just hammer this down till I get my 90 degrees. I probably could do it with a shrinker, but it's got different sizes here and like steps where these holes are and stuff. So I think we're going to hammer it. Will be the most effective way to do it. And but we probably won't be doing that right now because all my woodworking equipment is in the garage of the house, and there's no heat there. And as I've said, we've been running minus 20 here for the last few days, and it's supposed to go to minus 36 or 38 depending on who you listen to in the next couple of days. And I don't really want to go out and work in the garage with no heat. And then this is the other fender. We got quite a bit, almost different stuff on each fender. Some stuff on that fender is good, some stuff on this fender is good. This piece here is just Swiss cheese, as you can see. There wasn't even there on the other fender, so I took a mirror image of this one to make the one for the other side, and it's laying around here somewhere. I built that a few years ago. Yeah, here it is here. So that's the piece there. That took 5 pieces of metal to make that originally. Of course, it was a stamping, but it's got curves and bends every which way. There's a little bit of finish work I could do to it. It's a hidden piece. It's just its structure, but I like having it look good anyways. But this one, on this fender, this whole piece is here. On this fender, that whole piece is not here. You can see she's gone, and it's a tricky one because there is a, I'll try to show it to you here. It's got a it's like an inverted curve here on it, and I don't know, hopefully I can stay below that and just make the this has to be rounded here one way, and then it has to be curled underneath. So that will probably be another hammer form, to tell you the truth, because it's going to be a real tricky piece to make, unless I happen to get all ambitious and build myself an English wheel, because it's not like I can afford one. And then we got a bunch to do here that on the inside and outside, and that shouldn't be too bad to do. It's minor curves here. It's almost flat, so it can be hammered into place pretty easy. But we got to rebuild the inside piece, so we got to get it all out of there and then build a new piece, and it's just flat, so that won't be bad. And then build a new piece down over it. So that'll be probably what we start on the other fender. See down in here, this isn't as bad a shape over here as the other one. I don't think there's even a hole through it, but I'll have to clean it up and check. We got to do the eyebrow on that headlight, same as we did on the other one. And then this piece here unbolts, so we'll probably take it off just so we can clean it up good, and then bolt it back in. So this fender here is getting nearly done as far as building piece. Like I say, that one piece there we'll have to do. And then I've been debating, I think I might drill the spot welds and take, this is actually the battery mount here, battery not the box, because the battery actually sits on top of it. This is the underneath of it, but it's rusty in between it and the fender. So I'm thinking I might drill the spot welds and take it off just to clean up in between, and then weld it back on, just to prevent future problems. And you can still see the original black liner in the fender from 1946. Who'd have thought? But it might be from later, because this one did have bodywork done on it. Above the headlights here, this piece that we built a few years ago, that was all lead in there. Somebody had done a lot of lead repairs on this thing, probably back in the 60s or something. So anyways, that's what we're working on. We got ourselves cleared out a little spot here for doing metal work in behind the coffee area. think the coffee area might get shrunk down a little bit more. We still got our reamer and stuff sitting here. We got to build a bench to put it on, but we got 1,000 projects. We just kind of got to pick one and do it, and get a little bit more metal working area here. We got, well, that red thing, that's what the reamer goes on. We got our black light and our old OTC 4000 scan tool sitting there, and that's all got to go in the tool room when we get that ready to go. So anyways, that's what we're working on in here. We'll take a look out the window here, because I really don't want to go outside in the snow. It's not my most fun thing to do. So anyways, I think you can see out there, we got old Massey's gonna have to earn her keep again. We got a couple of feet of snow and snow drifts out there. And the white Ford, the 2011 there with the V6, it doesn't run. We got the go ahead to they want to do whatever it's going to take to get her going. So they're supposed to be coming in with progress payments. So we'll be on to that probably this week sometime. And let's see, I think that's about it for what's new this week. We got getting some more progress done on the steering wheel of the old Massey here. Got this whole piece here is nearly done. There's a little bit low right here, but I filed it there this morning just to see where we're at with the build up, and it's coming pretty good. That gap there's filled in. It needs a little bit more just to smooth it up. This piece here, there was no steering wheel from here to here. There's just a steel bar, and we're getting up to height here. If you ever want to rebuild a steering wheel, the trick is, I don't know if I mentioned that before or not, is this stuff. You want some saran wrap, because you can form your JB weld to whatever you want, and the problem with JB weld is it's about a 6-hour set time, so it runs and drips off. So you wrap it in saran wrap and let it cure, and when it's cured, the saran wrap just comes right off. It doesn't stick to the plastic, and so you can mold up whatever you want inside a saran wrap, and it'll hold it there. So I just wrap the saran wrap around, a little bit of masking tape to hold it there, and it makes it go a whole lot quicker. You're a lot more. You can build stuff right to size almost. You're not over building it, and you're not. It's not running off when you're working on it. So there's a little tip for the week, I guess. And anyways, so I guess that's a wrap up on this week's adventures. So we'll end her here and get her uploaded.